Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. I'm Patrick Byrne, Senior Executive of People and Culture at Monocle, and I'm here with our CEO, David Buckham. David, thanks for joining today. We're obviously recently on a mass recruitment drive in terms of looking for the brightest and most exceptional minds within consulting to join Monocle. And just to talk around, the process in terms of Monocle, and maybe let's start with what has driven the success of Monocle.
Well, Patrick, thank you. It has been quite a journey, and we've been very blessed to have grown so fast in a consistent manner for the last decade. And if I look at if I have to describe what caused it, or what made it true, is I'd say a couple of things. For one thing, we do what we say we're going to do. So we're very project delivery focused.
Yeah.
For a second aspect would be, I think we're in a very interesting world which needs these kinds of delivery skills and needs these kinds of capabilities. But you can only be as successful as your delivery, right, and your engagement. And that is definitely the people. So I think, without a doubt, the last decade has been an incredible ride, and it's all down to the people, the management at Monocle. We have a extensive management structure that's extremely sophisticated in the way that we integrate with people across multiple dimensions. Yeah. A lot of training, a lot of work on making sure that people get mentorship, a lot of work on making sure that people understand their roles, project management in the background, both from our side and the client side. But really, it's the quality of the people and the common vision of getting stuff done in the right way, I would say.
And you're speaking to people who were out there in industry, and they're looking at management consulting and what that means. Maybe put into terms what that means for Monocle.
Yes, so I think people sometimes think of management consultants as people who start their career in management consulting and are young and very willing to work 16-hour days, and that's that kind of old cardboard cutout version of a management consultant dressed in a suit, working crazy hours until they're 30. Yeah. This is not true. Management consulting is in and of itself an authentic career. It's a career that everyone here, over 250 people at Monocle, love. And the reason we love management consulting is because it suits our personalities. It's very intellectual, it's very challenging, but it's also balanced. Management consulting is a career with a lot of opportunity for learning and balance and different experiences. So a person who's working, for example, at a bank might really love that kind of role. They're in charge of a particular aspect of the bank. Management consulting, you're getting a much broader experience set. You go from project to project, but you also develop specialist skills. Yeah. And it's not a 16-hour day. It's a fantastic lifestyle. You work and you socialize with your colleagues, and you gain incredible skill set.
Yeah, and I suppose on skill sets, what key attributes do we look for? People join with experience, and the type of work we do, obviously, very data driven. What are those key attributes?
I think it's someone who understands, people who understand that there's a marriage between the subject matter, that is to say banking or insurance, or say some aspect of it, for example, capital adequacy, or liquidity controls, or anti-money laundering, with data. Yeah. And that relationship between the subject and the representation of the subject is a unique relationship that many people don't understand. It gives you a major leg up in the world to understand both. Yeah. And so what we're looking for are people who demonstrate that they're genuinely interested in both aspects, in the same way that one would be interested, for example, as a doctor in a particular part of medicine, as well as in communicating and teaching that part of medicine. It's the ability to be both interested in the data side and in the subject matter side. And also people who have shown a kind of can-do attitude and want to accelerate their careers, that want to take the next step in their careers and go from, a job to a career.
Yeah. And I suppose, looking at Monocle and what makes it successful, we obviously invest heavily in our culture and personal development and, providing a career journey and, lifelong learning with each individual who joins, Why is that so important to you as CEO of Monocle?
That's a great question, Patrick. I think it goes back to the early years of Monocle, where we were working overseas a lot, in countries like Iceland and in Denmark and Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and there were many moments where I was essentially asking people to work hard on something quite difficult and put themselves in front of executives in these strange places and take you could say some risk in themselves, push themselves to the boundaries of their personalities and of their capabilities. And the way to encourage people to do that is to make them understand that they're very much part of a team, and that you can make mistakes and you can fail, you can succeed. So that's where we started to create these events. So for example, we're in this strange country, we might as well walk up the tallest mountain in the country. So things like that started to happen, and then it became in and for itself. So, motorcycle trips through Malaysia, hiking in freezing conditions. As you know, hiking to the top of mountains can be one of my favorite things to do. But it's not a necessary part. That's not the definition of culture. Culture is having a set of opportunities to engage with people on a regular basis in a way that's not completely contrived. And as you know, we were talking about the Monocle Chronicle earlier. All of the things that we can do at Monocle with mountain biking, action netball, there's breakfasts, golf. I think there's 25 activities going on at any week, any given week. So that's what we want people to engage with each other with no other purpose than just to create an atmosphere that's collegial and friendly.
And I think that's what makes it special and unique, as I always say to people, asking me questions in interviews, you can work for any company, any job in the world, but it's the people who you surround yourself with, and, by putting yourself out there in these events and you get to know each other and you build relationships on a different level, I think that's what is very special. If
I were, let's say, between the ages of 25 and 40, and I could afford to, take a little bit of risk and move from one company to another, what kind of environment would I want to look towards? And people tend to look towards, obviously, what am I going to earn? And they tend to look towards, how will this look in my career? And something I would encourage people to also look towards is, what will my experience be? Am I going to have a good time and make friends and be happy? Because as far as I'm aware, this is part of life. We should try and have a good time at the same time.
And also to look at the type of exposure that they will get, over a long period of time. And I think that leads me on to my next question in terms of, experienced people within the market looking at maybe thinking about making a move into a different company. What would they expect to get, when joining Monocle?
It's a great question. An experienced person for us would be, it's always great for us to bring good experience in, because we learn from those people and they can help bring their experience, and they can help lead some of the youngsters, and they can help make kind of impact on our workforce and on our delivery I think also at the end of the day, we're growing very fast, Patrick. So we're looking for leadership, and we're looking for leaders to come in and bring that experience to bear on our growth.
Yeah.
If things go the way we plan them to go, we'll grow substantially over the next 10 years. So if we're 20 years old now, as you know, we're about to have our 20th anniversary.
Very exciting,
since founding the company. And we're now roughly, you would have the figure better than me, but it's just over 250 people in 3 different countries, 4 different offices, in 2 major industries, banking and insurance. And we've got very, very, very strong people and well-organized executive function, which is incredibly productive. Project management office plus about 25 clubs that one can join, a very strong people and culture team. So there is no reason why we could not grow at substantial rates for sustained periods of time. And given there's significant demand in the market, in a market where there's a shortage of our kind of skills, and in a market where we think that we are perhaps offering a service that is unique, I think people should think about getting on board this ship, because it's going to start flying, would be my answer.
Yeah, and it goes back to a piece of advice. I was on a webinar last year, and when someone mentioned that, identify your rocket ship and get onto it. Which I thought was a great piece of advice, and essentially that's what you're saying,
Yes, I think so. Without being arrogant, I think this particular rocket ship has been matured very well. It's owner managed. We're not a IT firm, and we're not an audit firm. We do only very interesting change work. We can work anywhere in the world. We're not restricted. We have consensus style management. We don't have autocratic management. As you know, I'm privileged to work at Monocle and also to get to write books at the same time. So the management layer is spread out across the executive. It's a fantastic place to work. There are many great places to work, but this one, we're hoping, we plan for it to succeed significantly.
And you mentioned there about, looking and identifying for, leaders to join us. And I think what has made Monocle exceptionally driven is the executive team, the mentorship program, and, with those people joining, learning from the best, how embedded the executives are, even within projects and hands-on. It's always something that when people join, they say, wow, it really is like that at Monocle. It's a very unique kind of setup. Maybe you might just talk to that.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. I think the executives under our Chief Operating Officer, Willy Earlers, and with Jaco van Buren-Schiller, who's the Chief Financial Officer. And then we have an executive, when we have an executive meeting, as you know, when we on our executive meeting, I think there's more than 20 people. It's very spread out. There's not a significant key man risk. We have various lines of attack on the problem of delivering satisfaction to the client, which is, are we doing the best job on the subject matter? Are we doing the best job on the delivery? There's detailed project overviews that sometimes the client's not even aware of. And that machine is grinding along, making sure that everyone is involved at multiple layers. So I'm particularly proud of that aspect.
It's a key aspect of the success of Monocle, and I suppose 20th year anniversary, you mentioned there, probably the most exciting time of Monocle, moving into new offices, bigger offices, to make us even more exceptionally, and I suppose to have a proper hub where employees can come in and have a very cool environment where they can continually progress. But maybe take us back, is this how you envisioned Monocle 20 years ago, and maybe what is the vision going forward?
I can tell you for free, Patrick, that there was no possible way I could have imagined this. I was hoping to make myself a small company and a job that I liked.
Yeah.
Because I had worked in various jobs that I didn't really enjoy, and I just needed to actually make some money and make a living for myself. And as it kind of continued, it just, you know, obviously there were some tough times, but over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years, but the last 5 years in particular, it's exploded in a kind of controlled, positive manner.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a lot to do with our executive structure, and it's got enormous potential. There, I would say there is potential to grow into more countries. There's potential to grow our teams in different places. There's potential to multiply, you know. And what's great about management consulting and Monocle versus other management consultants is that we are owner managed and we're not a partnership. So it's unique. There isn't one like us that I'm aware of. Everyone who owns shares of Monocle is at Monocle, and there's no partnership model. It's authentic ownership. So I think this is one of the differences between us and any other management consulting firm.
Yeah. And David, thanks for your input as CEO and driving the many initiatives that you have, you know.
Thank you.
You know, and making Monocle's the success it is today. You know, I think a lot is down to, as you said there, you know, structures that have been put in place, the engine rooms, you know, the driving success of it, you know, and you're obviously a key part of that. And thanks for sharing your insight today.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you to you too, as you know. You've been here for the last 5 years working very hard to build this company.
It's been an absolute joy, and I think it's even more exciting what's the future kind of holds ahead, which is
very exciting.
And for anyone who is interested in joining Monocle, obviously check out our website. We're obviously actively recruiting at the moment, and if you feel you have the attributes needed to join Monocle, please get in touch with any member of the People and Culture team today. Look forward to seeing you in the interview process. Thanks everyone.